Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Evelyn of Pink Sheep Design, and today we are going to do another yarn review. I am super excited I actually had someone message me on Instagram to ask if I would review this particular yarn, and I'm super thankful that the company was willing to send me some of this yarn to review for you guys. As you know, I'm always reviewing bulky and super bulky and jumbo yarn. I don't usually go any lower than that. So this is the 5, 6, 7 yarn weights. And this one says it's a 5 weight, but I'm of the opinion this looks a lot more like a 6 weight, and we are going to see together. So this is the yarn that we are going to be reviewing. This is Milky Way yarn by Hobbii. First impressions, this yarn is pretty fantastic. It has a ultimate squish factor. It's super squishy. It feels super soft. It is, let's see, 53% wool, 47% acrylic. So it's a really nice blend. I feel like when you get kind of a half and half of the wool and the acrylic, you're in a really good place with your yarn. You're going to get that nice warmth of the wool without having the itchiness that can come with 100% wool, especially if you are sensitive to wool yarn. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we are going to go through all the details about this yarn and work up a swatch, and we're going to use our handy dandy wraps per inch tool to see how many wraps per inch this yarn is and figure out whether or not this is masquerading as a 5, but it's actually a 6. We shall see. All right, let's jump right in with this Milky Way yarn by Hobbii. When you get up close and personal, I'm not even really sure how to describe it. I've never used yarn like this before. It's almost like it has been twisted. It's not a roving yarn. I guess maybe it's a style of roving yarn because, there's nothing like holding it into this twist. It's very unique. Like I said, I've not seen anything like it. I'm really, really excited for the chance to try it out and share this with you guys. And I will tell you, this is a pretty expensive yarn. It is about $18 a skein. So the stuff is pricey. I had someone reach out to review it because she was pretty pushed away by the price. Now I'm not gonna immediately say that it's worth it. I feel like the 18 to 20 and 25 range for one skein of yarn, and let's see the yardage on this. You're getting only 54 yards. So you're not even getting a whole lot of yardage with this. And I feel like I usually see that kind of pricing on things like hand-dyed wool, 100%, we say like Peruvian wool or sustainably sourced wool. And this doesn't really make any claims to that. It doesn't say that it's hand dyed. As far as I can see, I'd have to go back onto the website and see if they go into any more details. But just from the label, you're not seeing anything that would say why this is so special, if that makes any sense. But again, I just said it myself. I've never seen anything like this. So it is a very unique yarn. Okay, so let's get into the details a bit. Again, this says it's a 5 weight bulky, which we are going to test that out using our handy dandy wraps per inch tools. If you've never seen one of these, if you don't own one of these, we do sell them in our Etsy shop. I will put the link in the description below this video if you want to snag one of these for your tools. Let's see, 53% wool, 47% acrylic, 54 yards. They are recommending a 15 millimeter crochet hook, which I do have one of those, and that's what we're going to use to make our swatch. It also says 12 millimeter or US 15 knitting needles. Let's see, and they've got the washing instructions. Looks like it's hand wash and lay flat to dry, based on that. I'm not the best at those. I believe that's right. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to pop this centerpiece out, and we are going to go into our handy dandy hook holding bag, I've got a 15mm hook right here. These are our 3D printed ergonomic crochet hooks. If you have not checked those out, you can find them at pinksheepdesign.etsy.com. I'll also put the link in the description for our hooks. These are specially made for bulky and super bulky yarns to help relieve some of that extra stress and pain on the hands and wrists that can come with working with these bulkier weight yarns. So before I dive in with the hook, let's first off test this out. I am going to guess that this is a, let me see if I can find the end. Now immediately I can't really find the center. So if you like to center pull, I don't really want to end up with a bunch of yarn barf out here, but I don't see a center in this, but I did easily find the outside piece. At least I thought I did. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull from the outside since that's what I found first. Now, if this was a true bulky weight yarn, this is based on the Craft Yarn Council's information for wraps per inch. So it should be about 7 wraps per inch. This is an inch wide. So we're going to wrap it around. I'm going to say that this is a super bulky weight, 5 to 6 weight yarn. So let's try this out. All right, so we've got 1 wrap, 2 wraps, 3 wraps, 4 wraps, and it's not even 5 wraps. So I could kind of squish this together and add in that 5th wrap, but if I'm wrapping very lightly, which is what I like to try to do, this is pushing into the jumbo category because anything over 5 to 6 or under 5 to 6 wraps, so if it's 4 wraps or less, you're pushing into jumbo category, which is not listed here. So this one goes up to super bulky, but anything below that on those wraps per inch is going to be a jumbo weight yarn. So this is pushing into jumbo territory. That means that this is actually an amazing yarn to use for any of my patterns that call for a super bulky weight yarn. So a 6 weight yarn, this would be wonderful for a Luna cardigan, Trelawney cardigan, any of my scarves and hats that call for a 6 weight super bulky yarn. This would be amazing for that. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a little swatch so you guys can see what this looks like using the recommended size of a 15mm hook here. So you can see I've got that listed on the bottom. So let's go to work. Now immediately I can feel that this yarn has, let's see if I can zoom in for you, has a lot of fuzz. So as I started to wrap it around my finger to make the slip knot, I can feel that fuzz. I have a feeling that no matter what you make with this yarn, it's going to have a lot of fuzz to it. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It can make a sweater look very lived in, but some people, it's not going to be their jam to have anything fuzzy. You're going to probably constantly have the little lint thing out trying to get all of the fuzz off of your sweater, but some people are going to love that look. So we're going to see what we see. Now, it's so far really nice to work with. It's very soft. It's obviously easy to get the hook through. When you're working with these jumbo hooks like the 15, 16, 17, 18 and up millimeter hooks, makes it very easy to work through your yarn, even if it is, let's say, a trickier yarn to use, like if a yarn is very splitty. So if you're trying to put your hook in there and it's splitting in half and pulling out pieces, using a larger hook size, and maybe that's why they have recommended this hook size, because I think a smaller hook, you might end up going through some of these little fuzzy pieces and it pulling those pieces out. Let me get myself a little bit more yarn here to work with. Now again, I can't get over, like, this yarn is gorgeous. I mean, and again, I don't know what the process was for making this yarn. I'm really going to have to do even more reading on that to see maybe if they talk a little bit about why it is so expensive, because even for Hobbii brand, so that's the brand, this yarn, Hobbii right here, even for Hobbii, this is a pretty high priced yarn. I mean, this is on the quite the upper scale of what they usually charge for their yarn. And their yarn is a little more high priced.
overall, but they usually have great sales. I think that'll be the key with this yarn, is to watch out for a sale if you want to try it out. And the good news is, with the 54 yards, you could get 2 of these, and that should be enough to make you a hat, especially if you're using this like 15mm hook. Your yarn's going to go a little bit further. All right, so that was 1 row of single crochet. So we're going to move to half double crochet this time. And again, so far, I'm not having any issues with the yarn getting really splitty or being temperamental. It's gliding through my hands pretty easily. So overall, like, I'm excited to work with this. I bought, or they sent me enough to make an entire cardigan. So I'm really, really excited to share that finished cardigan with you guys once it's ready. I believe I'm going to make myself up. See, and let's see if, yep. So you can see that my hook went through some of the fuzz from a stitch below it. So, you know, there is a little bit of splitting there. So that is a single crochet, half double crochet. Now, there's not a lot of stitch definition, and I kind of figured that would be the case because of the twisted nature of this yarn. So you've already got so much texture in this twist that it's actually kind of difficult to see your stitches. Now, again, because you're using a 15mm hook, if that's what you decide to use, it's a lot easier to see your stitches anyway. But I think if you try to size down and use a smaller hook, it might be a little bit harder to see your stitches. Whereas the 15, you know, it kind of makes up for it. So let's do 1 more row. We're going to work 1 row of double crochet. So I like to hit the majority of the basic stitches so that you guys can kind of see what that looks like. So we'll do 1 more chain. We'll turn our work. And let's work a row of double crochet. I really don't have any complaints. I've worked with much splittier yarn, so that's not as big of an issue for me. I'm really excited to work with this on a larger project. The colors are beautiful. I chose this color and 2 others that were in the pink spectrum. Now, it just stuck to my ring, so I had a piece of the fuzz that got caught on my ring. So again, some people, that's not going to be your jam. So if yarn is splitty or frizzy or fuzzy, that may bother the heck out of you. So it's really a personal preference at that point. But, I mean, this is obviously pretty easy. I'm not getting stuck or slowed down. Like, I can work through this pretty quickly. There you go. So that is single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. See, there we go. Yep. So again, beautiful yarn, pricey though. I cannot say that if this yarn was not sent to me, if I would splurge on $18 a ball. You know, I really usually reserve that price for small batch, indie hand-dyed yarns. When you're looking into the 18 and up price range. But again, Hobbii does wonderful sales throughout the year, so I would be on the lookout for a sale if you're interested in using this yarn. But overall, it's a beautiful yarn. It would make beautiful clothing. Again, you guys know how much I love my chunky cardigans. This would be amazing for any of my patterns. I will drop a few pattern ideas in the comments below for this yarn, but this would make a beautiful cardigan, beautiful jacket, sweater, scarves. Yeah, it's pretty stunning. Just the color combinations, and they have a lot of color combo options. So be sure to check it out. The link is down in the description if you want to check out the colors, read a little bit more about this yarn. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would you try this? Would you be willing to splurge on this? Would you even be willing to buy it if it was on sale? How on sale would it need to be for you to give this yarn a try? Let me know. And until next time, happy hooking!